the weather. Our guide to what's on its way is Purvis.
Good evening. Well, there were some pretty hefty and blustery showers about today, but a few places in central and eastern parts of England did avoid them altogether. Now, most of the showers are dying out inland at the moment, but there's still a few around these northern and western coasts. And in the south here, a mixture of showers and perhaps some longer spells of rain as this wave runs across northern France. But that should be out of the way by the end of the night. And then during tomorrow, it's this system that we'll be concentrating on. It'll be bringing rain into western parts of the country during the morning, and then right across the rest of Britain during the day, probably reaching the more eastern districts around the early evening, and eventually the northeast of Scotland much later on than that, sort of late evening, followed then by clearer weather with showers. But let's have a look then at the chart for noon tomorrow, and there you can see the fronts getting into western areas. Some pretty strong winds associated with them as well, particularly ahead of the fronts and as well behind that cold front. So by the end of the day, wet and windy weather for most parts of the country. But for tonight's weather first, well, a lot of the showers inland have cleared away now. We've still got some persisting though on those northern and western coasts, and in the south here there are a mixture of showers and some longer spells of rain running across those southern counties of England, but by the end of the night that should have cleared away. But there will be a slight frost in many parts, so there will be some icy roads about tomorrow morning, and generally the winds easing off overnight. But then tomorrow they'll start picking up in these western areas again with some pretty strong southerlies. But for most parts of the country, starting off dry and bright with a good deal of sunshine. In the northwest, still perhaps an occasional shower about. And then during the morning, thicker cloud with rain getting into Northern Ireland, Wales and the southwest of England. And then it'll spread across the rest of the country during the course of the day, and as I said, not probably arriving in the more eastern districts of England until the early evening. And I'm afraid there probably will be a little bit of snow on the hills in northern England and Scotland at first. That's it. Good night.
Well, indeed, good night. It is. The time now approaching 4 minutes past 12. BBC2, I see, has gone to bed, and we're about to follow. But as the television networks close down for the night, BBC Radio comes into its own. News, music, and other entertainment for you, of course, on Radio 2. But as I say, that's all from us until tomorrow, when we hope you'll be looking in again. From BBC1, it's a very good night. Good night.